The sound of the helicopter blades slicing through the air was supposed to mean power, money, and control, but on that morning it meant humiliation. A single sentence, thrown like a careless stone, changed everything when the CEO laughed and said that if the janitor could fly the helicopter, she would marry him. What no one realized in that moment was that those words were about to collide with a past buried in sacrifice, silence, and a truth powerful enough to shake an entire empire. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a second and ask yourself something simple. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that people are never just what they seem, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Ethan Carter had learned early in life how to disappear in plain sight. His days began before sunrise, when the city was still half asleep and the corporate tower stood quiet and cold. He wore the same faded uniform every day, pushed the same cleaning cart through marble hallways, and listened to conversations that never included him. To most people, he was invisible, just another janitor wiping fingerprints off glass doors that belonged to people who would never ask his name. But invisibility was a skill he had mastered on purpose, because the man he used to be carried memories too heavy to show on his face. At the top of that tower sat Amelia Grant, the youngest CEO in the company's history, known for her sharp mind and colder reputation. She had inherited the business after her father's sudden death and built it into something even larger, something admired and feared. Her world ran on precision and control, and weakness was something she believed she could not afford. Every day, she arrived by helicopter, stepping onto the rooftop with confidence that masked a loneliness she never allowed herself to acknowledge. People respected her, envied her, and whispered about her, but no one truly knew her. Ethan noticed her the way he noticed everything quietly. He saw how her smile never reached her eyes, how her shoulders stiffened when meetings ended, and how the rooftop felt emptier after she left. He never stared, never lingered, because his place in that world was to clean, not to be seen. What Amelia noticed, on the other hand, was far more superficial. To her, Ethan was just part of the background, a reminder of a life far removed from her own, until the day stress, pride, and exhaustion pushed her to cruelty she would later regret. The company was preparing for a major media event, and the helicopter was meant to symbolize success and innovation. Executives gathered on the rooftop, tension thick in the air. When something went wrong with the schedule and tempers flared, Amelia's patience snapped. Her eyes landed on Ethan standing nearby, mop in hand, waiting to finish his work. A mocking challenge slipped from her lips, meant to entertain others and assert her dominance. She laughed, and others laughed with her, not knowing they were laughing at a man who had once flown missions through storms and fire. Ethan felt the weight of those eyes on him, the familiar sting of being underestimated. His heart pounded, not with anger, but with a deep, old sadness. He had promised himself long ago to leave that life behind, to never touch the sky again after the cost it had demanded from him. But something in that moment stirred, not pride, but a quiet resolve. He didn't argue or defend himself. He simply stepped forward, his movements calm, his expression unreadable, and asked for permission to help in the only way he truly knew how. What happened next unfolded, like a scene no one could have scripted. As Ethan approached the helicopter, his posture changed, as if muscle memory awakened a version of himself long buried. His hands moved with confidence, checking controls with an ease that came from years of experience rather than training videos. The laughter died down, replaced by uneasy silence. When the helicopter lifted smoothly into the air under his command, the rooftop fell completely still, the city below reflecting sunlight like a stunned witness. Amelia watched from the ground, her breath caught somewhere between disbelief and awe. This was no janitor guessing his way through a machine. This was a man who belonged in the sky. As the helicopter circled gracefully and landed with perfect control, something inside her cracked. The mockery she had offered so easily now felt heavy, shameful. For the first time in years, she felt small, not because someone overpowered her, but because she realized how wrong she had been. The truth did not come out all at once. It surfaced slowly, through whispered confirmations and stunned research. Ethan Carter was not just a janitor. He was a former military pilot, a decorated hero who had walked away from a promising career after a mission that cost him more than the public would ever know. He had lost people he loved, carried guilt that never slept, and chosen anonymity as a form of penance. Cleaning floors was not a fall from grace for him, but a way to stay grounded when the sky reminded him of loss. Amelia sought him out later, not as a CEO, but as a human being stripped of her armor. She listened as she learned about sacrifice, about how strength sometimes looks like silence, and how humility can hide in the most unexpected places. Ethan, in turn, saw past her sharp edges and recognized a woman shaped by pressure, fear, and the constant need to prove herself. Their worlds, once separated by power and perception, began to overlap in quiet, meaningful ways. Change did not come easily. Amelia had to face her own reflection in the culture she had allowed to grow around her, where respect was demanded instead of earned. Ethan had to confront memories he thought he had buried forever, reopening wounds he feared would never heal. But through shared understanding, something rare took shape. It was not a fairy tale romance born overnight, but a slow, deliberate rebuilding of trust, compassion, and self-worth. The company changed too. Policies shifted, voices once ignored were finally heard, and dignity became more than a slogan on a wall. Amelia learned that leadership was not about standing above others, but about lifting them when they were unseen. Ethan learned that his past did not have to define him, but it also did not need to be hidden in shame. Together, they proved that identity is not determined by job titles or uniforms, but by character revealed in moments of truth. As the story reaches its quiet crescendo, remember this feeling, the ache in your chest that comes from realizing how easily we misjudge others. If this journey moved you even a little, please like the video, share it with someone who needs to be reminded of compassion, and stay connected to the channel. Your engagement helps keep stories like this alive. Just before the ending, take a moment and comment below about a time when someone surprised you by being more than you expected, or when you yourself were misunderstood. In the end, the helicopter became more than a machine. It became a symbol of humility, redemption, and the fragile beauty of second chances. Amelia never forgot the lesson learned on that rooftop, and Ethan never forgot the moment he reclaimed the sky on his own terms. Their lives moved forward not because of a challenge made in mockery, but because of a truth revealed in grace. And long after the blades stopped spinning, what remained was something far more powerful than pride. A shared belief that kindness can change destinies, and that every person carries a story worth respecting.